Desi Disa, Bahul Bahujan Voice. Ee రోజున Vidyabhushan Rawat, author and activist, a nationwide Akhil Bharat activist, and so he wrote so many books also, but his main activity is హ్యూమన్ రైట్స్ అండ్ ల్యాండ్ రైట్స్. ఈ రోజున దేశీ దిశ స్టూడియోకి విద్యాభూషణ్ రావత్ వచ్చారు. వాళ్ళకి మనం దేశీ దిశ తరఫు నుంచి స్వాగతం. చాలా కాలం నుంచి ఈ దేశంలో గిరిజనులకి, ఆదివాసులకి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో 170 ఉంది, కానీ అటానమీ కూడా ఉంది. అటానమీ హక్కులు, ఆదివాసీ చట్టం పేరిట కబళిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళని డిస్ప్లేస్ చేసి, నిరాశ్రయులను చేసి స్థానభ్రంశం చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. దళితుల దగ్గరికి వచ్చేటప్పటికి మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాల్లో అసైన్ ల్యాండ్స్ అని చెప్పి గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంతకుముందు ఒక చట్టం చేసి వాటికి అనుభవ హక్కే కానీ క్రయ విక్రయ హక్కు లేకుండా చేసింది. అది కనుక వాళ్ళు అనుభవించకుండా దుర్వినియోగం చేస్తే వాటిని తిరిగి ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకోవచ్చు అనే చట్టం ఉండే. గిరిజనుల విషయంలో కూడా వాళ్ళు ఏ కారణం చేతనే దుర్వినియోగం చేస్తే అది ప్రభుత్వమే తీసుకోవాలి, తిరిగి మళ్ళీ గిరిజనులకు ఇవ్వాలి. దళితుల విషయంలో కూడా ప్రభుత్వం వెనక తీసుకోవాలి, తిరిగి మళ్ళీ దళితులకి ఇవ్వాలని ఉండే. దాని వైఎస్ రాజశేఖర రెడ్డి ఎవరికైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు అని పెట్టినాక గ్రామాల్లో, ఉదాహరణకి గూడూరు మన పాతపల్లిలో హుస్సేన్ అని ఇంతకుముందు ఒక దళితుడిని హత్య చేశారు. ఆ ఇష్యూ కూడా ఇలాంటిదే. అసైన్ ల్యాండ్గా హుస్సేన్కి దళితులకు భూమి ఇవ్వబడింది, కానీ అది దళితులకు పరిమితం చేయకుండా ఎవరికైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు అని పెట్టిన తర్వాత దళితేతరులు ఆక్రమించుకున్నారు. వాళ్ళ వెనకాల భూస్వాములు ఉన్నారు. దళితులు కూడా చంపే పరిస్థితి వచ్చింది. అంటే ఒక రకంగా ఆదివాసీ హక్కులు, భూ హక్కులు పోతున్నాయి, అలాగే దళితులకు ఇచ్చిన అసైన్ ల్యాండ్ హక్కులు పోతున్నాయి. అసలు దున్నేవాడి భూమి అనే దాని మీద హక్కేమో ఎప్పుడూ లేకుండానే పోయింది. సో ఇప్పుడు విద్యాభూషణ్ రావత్ గారిని ఈ ల్యాండ్ రైట్స్, కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ అండ్ డెమోక్రటిక్ రైట్స్, అట్ ది సేమ్ టైం హ్యూమన్ రైట్స్, ఇన్హ్యూమన్గా వాళ్ళని డిస్ప్లేస్ చేసేస్తున్నారు. అడవుల్లోంచి డిస్ప్లేస్ చేసేసిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడ బతకాలి? అడవి లేకపోతే గిరిజనులు బతకలేరు, నీరు లేకపోతే చేప బతకలేరు. అట్లాంటి వాతావరణంలో చాలా అమానుష్యంగా వాళ్ళని మనం చూసాము. ఛత్తీస్గఢ్లో మావోయిస్టుల నిర్బంధాన్ని తట్టుకోలేక, పోలీసు నిర్బంధాన్ని, దే మైగ్రేటెడ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఛత్తీస్గఢ్ టు ఖమ్మం, తెలంగాణ అండ్ ఆంధ్ర. దిస్ టూ గవర్నమెంట్స్ అండ్ అదర్ పీపుల్ వాళ్ళని ఇక్కడ ఉండటానికి వీల్లేదు, వాళ్ళు మళ్ళీ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోవాలని చెప్పి దాడులు చేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. రెవెన్యూ ఆఫీసర్స్ అరెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు, హెరాస్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఇట్స్ ఇన్హ్యూమన్.
Yes.
They lost tribal land rights, autonomy rights, and at the same time జీవించే హక్కు కూడా కోల్పోతా ఉన్నారు. ఇలాంటి విషయాల మీద రావత్ గారితో మనం ఆయన అనుభవాలు తెలుసుకుందాం. అలాగే దేశంలో ఈనాడు అంబేద్కరైట్గా, యాక్టివిస్ట్గానే కాకుండా అంబేద్కరైట్గాను ఈ హిందూ ఫాసిజం, బ్రాహ్మణికల్ ఫాసిజం, కాషాయ ఫాసిజం, కార్పొరేట్ ఫాసిజానికి వ్యతిరేకంగా కూడా డెమోక్రాట్స్తోనూ, సోషల్ డెమోక్రాట్స్తోనూ కలిసి పనిచేస్తున్నటువంటి అనుభవం ఉంది. దేశవ్యాప్తంగా అనేక రాష్ట్రాలు తిరుగుతున్నటువంటి మరి రావత్ గారు ఈరోజు మన స్టూడియోకి వచ్చినందుకు స్వాగతం, సుస్వాగతం. వీఆర్ వెల్కమ్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
ప్లీజ్ షేర్ యువర్ ఒపీనియన్స్ టు ది దేశీ దిశ వ్యూవర్స్. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్, ప్లీజ్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ అండ్ యువర్ యాక్టివిటీ, and after that we explain the experiences of your field.
Yeah. So my name is Vidyabhushan Rawat. I was born in Uttarakhand state, and that time actually Uttar Pradesh, this was a part of Uttar Pradesh. But culturally we were very different from the Uttar Pradesh state. We were living in mountain areas and very difficult life in the entire state.
Yeah.
My eyes were opened when I came to Delhi. So I had a lot of troubles in my childhood. So grew up fighting for my own struggles.
Okay.
But I was brought in Delhi by Dr. Mulk Raj Anand, the author.
Yes.
Himself a very humanist writer, and he belonged to one of the biggest, one of the most ostracized OBC community in Punjab. Very few people know about it, but he was, and that's he raised the issues of untouchability and all these things. So when I came to Delhi, that was the 90s, 1990.
Okay.
So the Delhi was against the Mandal Commission report.
Yeah.
I was a young student who had just come out of school, college, and was just seeing this thing, aspiring to be a journalist that time. So I saw that media was totally biased.
Yes.
And they were writing all stories. And Prime Minister VP Singh became kind of a most hated person in the history of India. His one action made everyone, asking for him all kind of abuses, everything. And the biggest thing was that it's not just the RSS walas.
Yes.
He
RSS
saw even the so-called progress.
organizing the upper caste, and they they are attacking on
but what was the most shocking thing was to find even the so-called progressive people who will claim Marxist were against the reservation.
Yes, yes.
And I was so upset with the meeting, I was writing my mass communication project report, and I decided to write about the media reporting on anti-Mandal reporting, how they reported.
Yeah.
And I interviewed many senior journalists and editors, professors. The only thing I found out, in the heart of the heart, they were like, they all had their anti-Mandal feeling.
Upper caste hatred.
Yes, upper caste hatred. And that's why that day I realized that in India all ism are failed. This is because the Brahminical prejudices.
Yes, yes.
So the Brahmin wear different hats.
Yes.
So you are Marxist thing, and your caste become more important than your political. Yes, Marxism. So that was shocking.
The first experience in Delhi.
Yeah, that was the experience in Delhi, seeing all those things. And meeting some of these progressives and speaking, and then they were like, today they may say that we support Dalit, we are reading Baba Saheb Ambedkar also, and they all have come Savitribai Phule. But that was the time when it opened my eyes how people who claim to be progressive and leftist, but still have the Janayu inside. When they use these caste slurs, and that has still happened because
why? Because I'm interviewing. In my knowledge, whole Marxists, Leninists and Maoists, they feel the caste is part and parcel of feudal aspect.
Yes.
They feel caste is a feudal aspect. So, anti-feudal progressive democracy, anti-feudal progressive democratic approach, definitely against the caste means against feudal.
Yes.
But it is a false understanding.
Yes.
Caste is not a feudal aspect.
Yeah.
It is in the primitive ancient India, medieval India, and now the feudalism gone away.
Yes.
Caste continued.
Yes, yes.
Their assessment is very, very wrong. Caste is not a feudal aspect. It is an aspect of additional social system. It controls the class also in every state.
I do agree, and as far as Indians are concerned, I've traveled across the world.
The definition of the Indian democracy on the basis of anti-feudal new democracy, it is wrong.
Yes, yes. I see. You are absolutely right. I traveled across the world, from Africa to America to Europe. And I can tell you, Indians take their caste in those countries also.
Yes, yes.
So the caste
they migrated.
They migrated with caste. I've seen even the Gurudwaras, the temples based on caste, the marriages based on caste, and Indians are ready to kill their children just because they want to keep their caste sanctity very high.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that is the sad parts that I realized that time, how the Indian middle class act. The middle class is nothing but Brahminical classes.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that is the that time I came in close touch with the Ambedkarite movement. I started reading Dr. Ambedkar, Periyar.
So you take a social democratic approach.
Yeah. So I felt that the biggest threat to India is Brahminism, and unless we speak against this, what is Manuvad, we can't create a social democracy in this country. Yes. Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar says that we want a social democracy and political democracy. Phule always said this thing. Phule says Sethji Bhatji. The two very, very brilliant.
And social democracy, the term introduced by the Phule.
Yeah, and that is brilliant.
Ambedkar recognized this concept.
Absolutely.
Who are
Shudras,
who are Shudras. He mentioned about
yes. So
given a more importance to social democracy than independence.
Yes, and that even Periyar, all revolutionaries in India. Actually, that is why I say people say that Brahmins were knowledgeable. I say all the Dalit Bahujan movement icons and revolutionaries are more knowledgeable, more liberal, more democratic, and more culturally superior to any Brahminical intellectual. Whether Phule, whether Periyar, whether Dr. Ambedkar, or Jaipal Singh Munda, they were articulate and brilliant.
Yes. They are organic intellectuals, the Gramsci concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
Organic intellectuals.
They are organic intellectuals.
Yeah.
And
those who born in the downtrodden communities, they have a life experience and scientific experience and this oppression is also gives more knowledge.
And all of them recognize one thing.
Yes, yes.
I tell people, if we find the commonalities, whether it is Phule, Ambedkar, Periyar, Jaipal Singh Munda, Birsa Munda, Bhagat Singh, there is commonality. They were all dedicated to socialism,
Yes.
democracy, and they identified Brahminism as the biggest.
So another question I am asking. Today, the struggle against Manuwadi, saffron, corporate fascism. Again, these identities.
Yeah.
Inqilab, Jindabad, Bhagat Singh.
Ji.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Preamble reading of our constitution.
We the people of India, Constitution,
Yes.
Preamble,
Yes.
Phule Ambedkar, and along with Gandhi also, for religious tolerance and religious equality.
Yeah.
These are the icons portrayed in this anti-fascist today's struggle.
Yeah.
Why the traditional communists, traditional Naxalites leaders cannot touch with this Indian society
Yeah,
and the democratic aspirations of the people.
Yeah.
Why this?
See, one of the things is the movement that is.
We will extend the discussion today's
Yes.
contemporary.
So, see, one of the basic things is that from the history, if you see the thing, mostly when we define any ism, it becomes the tool of the power.
Yeah.
So in India, Marxism also became a tool of the elite classes.
Elite class.
And I am using the class term also, Brahminical elite classes.
Kuleen.
Not even poor Brahmin.
Yeah.
They will be 1,000-acre land owners, Anglican, and good English speakers. You see all those old and same. It's not the poor. I come to the class issue. I say, if you want to class, let me tell you how many of the poor Brahmins are there in their structure.
Yes.
They are not there. The structure has to come from an Oxbridge educated, those who can speak an Anglican English. So that is one thing. Second thing is that these isms become a tool to protect their own ism.
Yeah. For their Brahmanism.
Yes. This is why.
Socialism or Marxism.
Every ism,
Nationalism. Any ism.
It was a cover
for
up.
the protection of Brahmanism.
Yeah, it is a cover up.
Very good.
And what they did was, I've written a book. Actually, Desi Disa can print that. This is not printed yet.
We are ready to.
It is
ready to print.
how Marxism was killed by Brahminism in India.
Yeah.
It's a whole. You see Bengal. They ruled for nearly 35 years. Now, in 35 years, they continue to deny that there are OBCs in Bengal.
Yes.
They say we don't believe in class.
In Mandal period also,
yes,
there is no OBCs in Bengal.
They didn't. And Bengal has nearly 30% Muslims. All the Muslims are poor Muslims. They are Dalit Muslim basically, Dalit OBC Muslims. Then there are 25-30% the same Dalit. So this constitutes 55%.
55%.
And if you include OBC, it will go, and Adivasi, it will go more than 90%.
Yes.
But who rules Bengal through CPM and CPI?
Yes.
All the Bhadralok and all the Brahminical Bhadralok. Yeah. And that is where I'm not a problem. I don't have a problem.
Raksho, Rakshite, Rakshitaha.
Yeah.
Rakshit lok.
Yes.
Bhadralok.
Yeah, they're already protected.
Comparatively, I given another example. In Telangana also, the composition of the population of different communities in Telangana, all upper castes in Telangana come into 77% only. 7%.
Okay.
7%.
And
93% SC, ST, BC, OBCs in Telangana.
Okay. And then what is the representation, the government jobs and
Reverse.
That is in Bengal.
The 7 people, the landowners, industrialists, politicians, all the business people, all are belongs to the 7% people.
That is where
all the wealth are in the hands.
That is what I want to ask the question. We have to now evaluate. So you talked about land to tiller.
Yeah.
You give us the example how many Dalits got land after your struggle.
Yeah.
Because the feudal landlords are still there. Everywhere, all these states.
Not only feudal landlords, land to the tiller in India, land to the tenant of the same upper caste or peasant caste.
Yes.
It's not distributed to artisan communities of the BCs.
It never came.
Dalits.
It never went to them.
Why? Because in China, land to the tiller, land to the poor.
Yes.
But here in India, land to the tiller means land to the tenant.
Yes, those who are tilling there. Actually, they got
Tenant
it.
belongs to the same peasant caste.
Yes.
Landlord also belongs to the same
See, that is
peasant
where
caste.
that is where I was saying when Baba Saheb Ambedkar says that political democracy in India will fail unless there is a social democracy.
Right. You are
And
right.
social democracy will never happen unless there is a equal distribution of land resources.
Very good, very good.
That is what I
Please
define.
Repeat again.
India cannot have social democracy unless there is equitable distribution of land and other natural resources.
Yes.
Now this if you go to what Baba Saheb described our villages.
Yes.
So he described a village as typical adda of Manuvad.
Yeah.
You know, where the caste system works and it operates like any
Very cruel.
any typical village. If you go,
They deny human rights.
yeah, it will have a different categories. So you have a Madiga Wada, Madiga Basti, Mala Basti, and then you have the Reddys have big houses.
Yes.
Quite far.
All over India. Every
All over
village is
India,
like-
sir.
every village- the structure of the village and the base of the caste.
I made,
Gradation of the
I
caste.
have a center Kushinagar in near Kushinagar.
Okay.
We have a community center for Mushahar community. And this Mushahar community always everywhere they are on the river bank. So whenever there is a flood, they are the first people who wear the brunt.
Victims.
And there are no facilities for them. Only now we are trying to get them. So Dalits live on the river bank, on the all these things, and they face the brunt. And as you change, there are Yadav Basti, then there will be Chamar Basti, and then there will be far away from them will be the Brahmins, Baniyas, Thakurs, all living in big houses.
Yes. And in a safe and better place.
So I tell people, if you want to see Manuvad in action, please come to village and see.
Yes.
This is, and this, because of this Manuvad, I want, because when we are trying to unite all communities, the Kisan movement people say, now Kisan come to all these things. I give you example, this year, one of the biggest Kisan leader was defeated in Maharashtra. I forgot his name. But later I found out he was a Jain. So I think Kisan leaders also, Jain also become Kisan leaders. He only said that I raised the farmers' issues, but when the vote came, farmers also voted on the caste lines. And most of their vote went to the nationalism. So what is happening in this is, Indian farmers are dying. You see, after the independence, so many farmers have been killed, even up today.
Yes. Recent elections in Maharashtra also.
Yes.
Sharad Pawar is hunted by the central government of
Yes.
ED,
ED.
Informist
Direct
tax.
Yeah.
The reaction comes from Maratha Kumbi community.
The powerful.
The same community and the caste lines, they voted to him.
Actually, he is the undisputed leader of that.
Yes.
And what happens is that when the farmers are dying, and they will go differently. When they come, unity question come, the caste bias is against happens.
Yes.
So those who are powerful, actually Indian democracy is the democracy of the powerful.
Okay. And another question, today the January 8th, it is Akhil Bharat Bandh of peasants and the
Trade unions.
You comment on this, why they are all India wide strike? What is the reason, what is the approach of the government, and what are the main demands of the suppressed people?
See, the trade unions, I always have a
First of all, we will, on behalf of our Desi Disa, we are supporting this bandh.
Yes,
at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this bandh is basically by all trade unions of India. And as you know, this is a fact, that when Narendra Modi came to power in 2014, my own analysis was, he came to power for very reason he was brought by the capitalist.
Yes, you are right.
So in the capitalist world, the capitalist in today's world, today's Indian capitalism is Marwadi capitalism, this Brahminical capitalism. So when in 2013, Congress has brought, after a lot of struggle, the Land Acquisition Act. And in the Land Acquisition Act was, when the farmers' land was being grabbed, obviously Congress also promoted, Chidambaram kind of people also wanted industries to grab land and at no cost. But there were a lot of mass protests. And after the massive mass protest, which like incident happened in Nandigram and even the communist government was defeated. If you see, Buddhadev Bhattacharya was the chief minister of Bengal, who was not only giving land to big companies like Singur and Nandigram, but the people rose up and the government was forced to make a land acquisition act. Now this land acquisition act was that if you want to acquire any land or buy any land, you have to ask the people. So unless 80% of the villagers give consent that we want to sell our land, the government cannot acquire. The earlier act was that government can, DM will write a letter and say, "मैं तुम्हारा जमीन लेना चाहता हूँ, I want to take your land," and that's fine in the national interest. So can you imagine in the national interest? National interest means Brahminical interest in this country actually.
Selfish.
So in 1950 se leke till date, more than 10 million Adivasis, 1 crore Adivasis have been displaced, not properly rehabilitated in this national interest. It is the national interest only happen in the Adivasi area, in the Dalit area. We never have
in the Kashmiri Pandits.
In the Kashmiri Pandit. We never have the national interest. Then I can say, can government acquire land in the national interest in the Connaught Place in Delhi or say in the heart of Hyderabad? National interest, we have to build up something. It should be here. It can't do that. And some people say, I was in Kudankulan once and asking question to people, and one fisherman gave me a very good answer in Tamil Nadu. And I said, see, the Prime Minister is saying national interest, we should acquire some land. What is there? Some people have to sacrifice their life. And you know what the fisherman answered to me? He says, why can't the Prime Minister sacrifice his life in the national interest? So this is why can't the people sacrifice? You know, those who are giving us the argument, in
the terms of exploitation, the terms of national interest. Really it is an exploitation.
The national interest is always against, you use Dalit Adivasis, you pick up their land, you are making them landless and finishing their generation actually, and all in the name of national interest. So that was the time when the corporate came and they wanted, because they wanted land. They are for the land hunting. Actually, new feudal landlords are the corporate. So they decided, and how do you now bring a person in our democracy? The democracy, Baba Saheb Ambedkar used to say that hero worshipping is very dangerous. We are creating new kind of heroes, and this is the brand building. So the companies are involved in making a brand, and that brand actually is now worshipped by the people. And unfortunately, even those who are opposing Modi trying to build up their own brand. And as long as we have this branding thing,
Modi Shah brand.
We have to fight against Modi and Shah or any kind of branding. We have to develop the leadership of the collective, and that should have to come from the emergence from the Dalit Bahujan. Without that, it is not possible. So when I was saying they acquire land, so after Modi came to power, the first thing he did was to try to amend this act. And amend this consent act, because the industrialists never wanted. They want to give whatever they want to give. So now that act says that you have to give 5 times more the land of the market price. But the government was not ready to do so. So they brought 3 ordinances, all because they could not pass in Rajya Sabha. And that is why this whole industrialists are still ready to go there. But when we don't have leaders who have vision, and when the leaders are doing this,
come to again Bharat Bandh.
Sorry. So Bharat Bandh. So I forgot that. So this Bharat Bandh is
briefly. What is the main demand?
So the main demand is
the reason.
So that's what
given the Bandh.
So I was giving a background. Who brought this government? This government was brought by the corporate houses, added with the Brahminical interests. Now what happened is that after that they went on a rampage to privatize everything. So Indian middle class were told that everything that government owns is bad, and every answer has to be with privatized. And first they sold, Bharat Hindustan Petroleum, then they sold, now selling Air India, BSNL, and all these have huge infrastructure. And they're giving it to the private companies, and not private, one crony particularly. He is ready to take. Initially they said that, private means multiple and competition.
And only monopoly.
Now they're creating another monopoly.
One market, one banya.
One banya. And that only typical Gujarati. And then what has happened? So now Air India has been railways. Now they are what they are doing.
Foreign direct investment is also main issue in this month. They are against fighting.
Actually, yes, foreign direct investment is in the bulk, but nobody is coming right now. And even the investment is not coming. This government is, because even if they see capitalism works in Western world because there is an equitable society.
Yeah.
This country, the capitalism is Brahminical capitalism.
Banya capitalism.
Banya capitalism. The Brahman
Crony capitalism.
Crony capitalism.
Banya crony.
So they will keep their jatis also.
Yeah.
See, in West, many capitalists, see American system. America, you can have critique. But you know, even a person can leave his company and after some time, you know, go away and naturally somebody else will take over. In this country, Ambani's son will take over. So for the politician, they can say that they are dynast. That is a very clever term used. But in their companies, can you imagine in the Bajaj company owned by a non-Bajaj? An Ambani company owned by a non-Ambani? And most of these companies have a majority of...
This dynasty is a dinosaur dynasty.
Dinosaur dynasty. Much bigger. See, in today's time, sir, you can criticize your political leaders, but you can't criticize the biggest dynasty in the industry. So they all can dynast. But what is your industry?
Yeah,
and they say we are private.
Political dynasty.
Yeah.
What about the capitalist?
Yeah, capitalist. So that is where the privatization, and the now biggest threat is coming, the privatization of education and health.
Yeah.
The two things, at least these services should be under the government.
Yeah.
Because we are a welfare state.
Your contemporary, an important issue, the attack of RSS ABP Cheddi gang. The Cheddi gang attacked in JNU. And what is your comment on that incident?
See,
So the privatization of universities and privatization of education and corporatization of the total.
Yes.
At the same time, Hinduization and RSSization is also there.
Yeah.
ABP in one English daily magazine termed it, ABVP means Akhil Bharatiya Worst Police, VP Worst Police.
Okay, worst police, yeah.
And worst Gundas. Cheddi gang, it is a Cheddi gang. So what your comment on the
why
Sangh Parivar Cheddi gang?
Yeah. What is
attack on JNU?
Why attack on JNU? JNU today symbolizes the aspirations of India's Bahujan masses. See, JNU has more than 70% students coming from Dalit, OBC, Adivasi communities, even Muslim communities, girls.
Maybe in all universities also there?
No, JNU has a very specific history.
Yes.
Because JNU, one is that there is teachers are also, they may be Brahmins, but they are now quite liberal in that terms, at least pro people, pro student. So now these Dalit, Adivasi, OBC, BC students are growing up in intellectualism.
Yeah.
Now they don't want to be defined by the Savarna intellectuals. They want to be defined themselves. I want to write my own history. So this, So you don't be our expert.
Yes.
That kind of thing happening. So somebody says he is an expert on that. Don't be expert here. You can. Nobody denies somebody to write about. But here the youngsters are coming up with brilliant ideas, brilliant speakers. In the last 5 years, the more government wanted to push. So this government agenda is privatize the institution and the big structure and Brahmanize the software. Software means the syllabus. So Brahmanize the syllabus. So can you imagine in this country we have Banaras Hindu University, which is another Brahminical institution. The biggest Brahminical institution in India is BHU. They want every university to be like that. Because in BHU, every student touches the feet of the teachers and they are typical Tilakdharis. Contrary to that, JNU is open, teacher will sit like a student.
Cheddi gang culture, RSS.
In BHU, Dalit students face ostracization, very difficult for them. OBC students, they are very threatened. And most of the time, even the girls students are not allowed outside the hostels. And there is timing. But JNU is like a liberated oasis where they want, So in BHU, they are starting a course, a 6-month course they are starting in the Bhoot Pret Vidya. Can you imagine this country? Why you want you say taxpayers' money, I pay tax. Why the hell my taxpayers' money is going to these Bhoot Pret and these Jyotish Vigyan? So that is where the threat is this government has no agenda except to destroy, because this is anti-intellectual government.
Yes, yes.
This government cannot tolerate even the Brahmin intellectual, I can tell
Don't
you.
tolerate the questioning and
Yeah.
criticizing an alternative.
Yes, so they want our universities to be turned into gurukuls. So gurukuls means where there will be a Dronacharya and the Shishya will be Ekalavya. So the Dalit Adivasi Shishyas will have to just shut their mouth and shut their brain and listen to the Guruji's Vani.
Yeah.
And whatever the Guru say, we have to accept that. So
Without-
they want to...
without any question,
Yes.
without any criticism.
So the universities, they want to turn into gurukuls, and gurukuls mean don't question your guru. And if the guru want, Brahmin Shishya to upcome, he is ready. The Dalits should be ready to vacate their seats
Yes.
for the Savarnas,
Yeah.
so that they can be at the higher ladders. So that is the crisis of this.
So the last question, what is your message to fight against the Manwadi saffron corporate fascism?
See, I will say all this they are doing is because they are afraid of masses. And once they have come to power, they think they have to control it by hook or by crook. Whatever they are doing in the name of anti-Islam or against Muslim is actually against Dalits and Adivasis and the Bahujan Samaj.
Very good.
Because why they are afraid of Bahujan Samaj is they are asking questions. They are building their leadership.
Yeah.
When 1990, when I was in Delhi, that time there were not many journals and magazines and newspapers who were writing about Dalits. Now, that was only the Ambedkarites were having their magazines and journals.
Yes.
Now everybody, the youngster writing blogs, you have started this.
Yes.
So many
Our
people.
Desi Disa is also one of the aspect
So this
in
is,
your
this
analysis.
is, this is what is important. Make this news information available
Yes.
and not only
One
information.
Dalit professor, Professor Sujata, is the editor of this Desi Disa.
Yes, yes,
I am a
yes.
founder
Yeah.
of this institution.
Yes, yes, yes. No, so I know Sujata ji very well, and I have
So
part
your
of her
comment is, our attempt is also an example of your comment.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I've been supporting her, whatever she does, I support her actions in the ground because she is very passionate about doing, raising people's issue. And I tell that if we have teachers like her, it will be good because the student will know what's happening in the ground. Right. So it's not like a typical academic exercise inside the classroom, and when you are in the at the university level, the students should be taught in outside activities. So I'm happy that Sujata is helping and editing this Desi Disa. And why I would request all like-minded people read Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, read Phule, Periyar, Bhagat Singh. All these people did not spread hatred against anyone.
Yes.
The Bahujan Samaj doesn't believe in hatred.
Yes.
It believes in equality, fraternity.
Democracy.
See, I am telling, reading Ambedkar will liberate Brahmins also. It's not, and they will also become human. All will become human being.
Okay.
We want to live in India, which is a humanized India.
Okay. Finally, our organization is Bahul Bahujan Samiti. Akhil Bharat Bahul Bahujan Samiti.
Ji.
It is our organization.
Yeah.
Akhil Bharat is an alternative to Akhand Bharat.
Yeah.
And Bahujan majority is the only social democratic majority to defeat the fascist Hindu majority.
Yeah.
So we are promoting the federal outlook of Bahul and the SC/ST/BC minority social democratic forces is Bahujan.
Yeah, yeah.
This is our, it is an alternative perspective to fight against Hindu.
I think the only way where India will grow. My comment is, I agree with your approach because I like this term Akhil.
Yeah.
Akhand Bharat and Akhil Bharat.
Yes.
Akhil Bharat can only make Akhand Bharat.
Yes.
If we really want to say Akhil Bharat will make Akhand Bharat, means if this country is a country of countries, it is a multinational country.
Yes.
It's
a subcontinent.
It's subcontinent. It's a huge country. If you go to Netherlands, there are 25 lakh. If you go to Hungary, there are 50 lakh. And 50 lakh means 1 crore se upar to you have Hyderabad. So we are and this country is such a huge, diverse, and we must celebrate this diversity.
Because of we are saying Bahul.
Yeah, and this country will survive. It has survived for ages. This will survive because of the Bahujan Samaj.
Yes.
This Bahujan Samaj means India's diversity, respect diversity, celebrate diversity, respect autonomy of the people, and the government has no business to enter into my bedroom and into my cooking
Kitchen.
plate or kitchen. My right to eat whatever I want to eat.
Yes.
And India's Adivasis, India's Dalits, India's
So
Bahujan.
many food culture diversity.
We have such a nice food culture that every day I can't eat the rajma chawal or you can't eat the dahi bhalla or idli dosa. We need to see what a great country we are, and we have to acquire this country, and we have to release this country from the forces of parochialism, fundamentalism, Brahminical elitism, and it is only possible if we respect the diversity of this country, and we make sure that India's Bahujan Samaj is represented at all forum, at all level. I tell people, India's Dalit OBC, 90% of its structure, its variety must be reflected in our governance structure, in our media, in our judiciary, in our parliament.
Okay.
Because right now our media is, if you see the English language media, it is mostly the Brahminical elite. There are not Dalit, there are not OBC, there are not a single Adivasi writing in these things. So opinion making is important. I am complimenting you. I have started this channel. Please make it sure that it goes wider and wider, regular, and have the links from other like-minded thing like Periyar's work, like Dr. Ambedkar's work, Lohiya's work. They are the legendary people, Bhagat Singh. And so that these vision go outside, and our aim should be to unite diverse Bahujan communities and bring them on one platform. Thank you very much.
విద్యాభూషణ్ రావత్ గారికి ధన్యవాదాలు. దేశీ దిశ బహుళ బహుజన్ వాయిస్కి వచ్చి ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఇచ్చినందుకు. సారాంశంలో ఆయన 3 విషయాలు మనకి మన వ్యూవర్స్కి పాఠకులకి చెప్తా ఉన్నారు. ఈ దేశం ఒక ఉపఖండం లాంటి అనేక చిన్న చిన్న దేశాల కంటే పెద్దైనటువంటి ఒక బహుళత్వం కలిగిన దేశం కనుక ఇది భిన్నత్వంలో బహుళత్వం, ప్లొరాలిటీ ఇన్ డైవర్సిటీ, ఇది ఒక లైన్గా తీసుకోవాలని చెప్తున్నారు. రెండోది, ప్రతి రాష్ట్రంలో బహుజనులు ఒక సామాజిక ప్రజాస్వామ్య శక్తిగా, సెక్యులర్ శక్తిగా మారాలని చెప్తున్నారు. ఈ దేశంలో పెరుగుతున్న ఫాసిజాన్ని ఓడించడానికి ఇలాంటి ప్రత్యామ్నాయంతో ముందుకు పోవాలి. అట్లాగే కార్పొరేటైజేషన్ అండ్ ప్రైవేటైజేషన్ అనేది చాలా డేంజరస్గా ముందుకు వస్తున్నది. వాళ్ళ కోసమే ఇది ఒక రకంగా బనియా క్యాపిటల్, బ్రాహ్మణీకరణ కల్చర్ అండ్ బనియా క్యాపిటల్. ఇది ఒక రకంగా వైశ్య పెట్టుబడిదారి వర్గం, బ్రాహ్మణ సంస్కృతిగా మారుతుంది. దాన్నే జాతీయ సంస్కృతి అంటున్నారు. ఇది బూటకం అని చెప్తున్నారు. ఆదివాసులు కానీ, దళితులు కానీ, బీసీలు కానీ, అనేక వివిధ మతాల వాళ్ళు కానీ బ్రహ్మాండమైనటువంటి వైవిధ్యంతో కూడుకున్న ఆహారాన్ని ఇది కలిగి ఉన్నారు. కనుక ఈ హిందూ ఫాసిజాన్ని, చెడ్డీ గ్యాంగ్ని మా ఇళ్లలోకి రావద్దు, మా బెడ్రూమ్లోకి రావద్దు, మా వంటింట్లోకి రావద్దు, వస్తే తిప్పి కొట్టండి అని ఒక గొప్ప పిలిపిచ్చారు. ఇప్పుడు రావత్ గారికి ధన్యవాదాలు చెప్తూ ఇంతటితో సమాప్తం.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్, ధన్యవాదాలు. జై భీమ్.